right, welcome back to another episode of Unsinkable Theory, a show where we talk to you guys about our favorite movies, movie moments, and at the end we will decide if that movie is sinkable or unsinkable. So, Star Wars Episode 9. We got a trailer. What do we think?
Teaser trailer.
Teaser trailer.
It got me a little hype when I watched it. I had to temper my feelings, but watching it, I got pretty excited.
Yeah, the score, the music in the trailer, I feel like J.J. Abrams, especially with the Force Awakens trailer, was really good. It got me super excited to see that movie. Got everybody excited about Star Wars. Well, even more excited about Star Wars, Like, this trilogy might actually be pretty good. And then, I have my reserves from The Last Jedi going to that. But I do have faith in J.J. Abrams and that this movie can tie up some of the weird things that happened in Last Jedi and actually bring this saga to an end, like it says in the trailer.
To a much more positive end. I don't think I'm the only person at this table who didn't like The Last Jedi. So
I think we all disliked it. Yeah.
That being said, I'm willing to give this one a chance. For a while it's just like, fuck Star Wars, fuck whatever,
Fuck Disney.
whatever the hell they're doing. Like, whatever this is, like, I'm not with it, but I'm willing to give it another chance.
Definitely. I would say, it was a good trailer. The score, like I said, I was drawn in, and then I was sitting there watching it at work, and I heard the screech of the TIE fighter, or whatever Kylo Ren ship is called, and I just got kind of giddy, and we're just like, oh, hell yeah.
Right.
And I thought Rey's outfit was a nice little outfit. It was kind of like a homage to Luke's original outfit on Tatooine. So that was pretty cool.
She fixed Anakin's lightsaber.
Yeah.
It was broken?
And
Yeah, it was broken in the Last Jedi.
What broke it?
Kylo and Rey were both force pulling it and it exploded.
Oh.
They get
I don't remember
they get
that.
broken in half.
yeah, they're tying
I don't
up some
remember that
weird
part.
things that they did. I feel like
Although I
JJ's
think
going to take care of some of that stuff.
I think they technically just call it Rey's lightsaber now, but
Yeah.
it's Anakin's lightsaber.
Which I still refuse to acknowledge. No, it's not her. I don't give a fuck. It's not a lightsaber.
Well, right.
Come on.
So, I mean, just like
Stop.
one of my main things about disliking The Last Jedi was they tried to make it not about the Skywalkers, and then it had
Right.
that ending where the little boy had the Force, and it was like, anybody can have the Force. It doesn't matter what your family is, and that's kind of what they did with Rey's character, and I didn't like that because, the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy is about the Skywalkers. You would think that, in George Lucas's original plan for the sequel trilogy, it was going to be still about the Skywalkers,
Yeah.
So it kind of pissed me off that The Last Jedi was treated like it's not about the Star Wars or Skywalkers, and that you don't have to be a part of this family to be a strong Jedi. Well, that's what the story is about. That's the story that we're telling, or that Disney should have been telling.
Yeah. Is
So
it a...
I'm glad they're kind of going back to that to wrap it up, is what I'm saying, with the release of the title.
Do we think...
Rise of Skywalker?
Do we think the Palpatine laugh is just a little misdirection, or do you think that's, he's going to be back somehow?
Before at Star Wars Celebration, J.J. Abrams confirmed that Ian McDiarmid is in the movie.
Just Ian.
Yeah, so Emperor Palpatine.
Emperor Palpatine, the Senate, is in the movie.
Okay. Well,
So
that solves that.
I personally did not see that really coming, that they would take a strand out of that old EU expanded universe.
That old canon, yeah.
Yeah.
That old lore.
The legends.
Yeah. I didn't, especially that. I mean, it's not an obscure comic, but that Dark Empire comic, it's kind of old.
Mm.
It was made in the 80s. It was one of the first things made after Return of the Jedi. And, it was pretty interesting. I think Mara Jade was even in it. I think Luke might have been married to Mara Jade by then.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he might have had a full team of Jedi helping them track down Palpatine. with
Yeah.
the Super Star Destroyer that had the Death Star had a Death Star style.
Yeah.
cannon in it.
So for anybody who doesn't know, kind of like that background with that extended universe, basically in that extended universe, Palpatine had a bunch of clones. He had his own Star Destroyer, and he was basically just hiding out all that time. So it's probably not too far of a stretch to think they're gonna incorporate a little bit of that. I mean, if he's in it like
Something
if
with
he's in
his
it like they're saying
consciousness.
he's in it,
Yeah.
then I think they'll probably use some of that as well.
Yeah, I
Which-
mean, what if like Palpatine was really like in control of Kylo Ren this entire time? Not like he's in Kylo Ren, but he's
Like
like
he had
he's
some
Kylo
piece-
Ren's master.
Right.
So when Kylo Ren kills Snoke in the Last Jedi, it's not like he's killing his master; he's killing his false master.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's the thing that people were trying to speculate about, like The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens, that maybe part of Palpatine's consciousness was in Snoke or something like that. Like he had like a ring or some sort of artifact that was attached to Palpatine in
Yeah.
some way.
The books,
Which
the
one?
aftermath
books?
aftermath books do set up that Sith artifacts have old Sith in them.
Yeah,
and they can
like
take
they're-
over someone's body by
Right.
using that artifact.
Right.
Yeah, I think I remember reading
And
about
so
that.
I think that might be what it is. Either it's on Kylo now, like he took something from Snoke's body or something, because they like didn't explain anything about Snoke, and I think that's another big problem for a lot of people. Is like they introduced this like cool new villain, made him all mysterious in The Force Awakens, and then did nothing with it. So I hope they
Right.
kind of wrap that up a little bit better in this movie as well. I don't want to waste too much time with it because they already just kind of cut the character out, but to like say like, oh, this is what actually was going on that we didn't explain in this movie at all because Ryan Johnson's an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Well,
totally
they
easy
loved the
enough
movie.
to.
Disney did?
Bob Iger is on record saying he loved The Last Jedi. He saw a
I mean-
cut of it right when The Force Awakens was released.
For real?
Yeah,
See,
like
here's
the first
the
rough
thing.
cut of it.
I want to see now. It's like it's got me interested in seeing it as a whole trilogy, seeing how Rise of Skywalker ties it up, and then analyzing the movies, whether that they're like good or bad. But
I think they're gonna be
think,
just
like I
jumping.
just did not like it just wasn't satisfied with anything. It's not that everything had to go perfectly the way we wanted it. You know, we get all the explanations about Snoke. We see Kylo's backstory. Okay, that's what we wanted, but it just didn't like do anything.
There's nothing about the movie like
It didn't further the story in any way. It just kind of was just like, what the hell happened?
I think there was a lot of stuff wrong with Last Jedi besides the storytelling. All the politics that were kind of underneath it that no one really wants to talk about, that was a big problem. The story was a problem. The fact that this, like, in the whole movie, there's no, like, exploration. They are at a casino for 20 minutes of the movie. They're on the island for the other hour. And then they're on that ship for 45 minutes. And then, 10 minutes at the very end? They don't go anywhere to do anything. For most of the movie, they're on a ship and they're just, like, floating in space, trying to outrun the Dreadnought. And it's like, that's not interesting. Nobody wants to see that. That's part of the reason why people hate it so much. It's like, you guys didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You have an entire universe, like, literally a universe, or, more accurately, a galaxy, and you don't go anywhere. At least in The Force Awakens, they were on, 3 different planets? Something like that?
Well, it had a better flow, I feel.
Yeah.
You mentioned that, but it looks like the two worlds that got the most screen time are once again desert worlds. Is this galaxy had nothing but desert worlds in it? Unless again they are on Tatooine again.
Well, that's actually
they very well
a
could be.
thing that they used. So all the outer rims, they showed them as, like, having less, like, variation in climate to show, like, oh, this is kind of, like, not the center of civilization. And then you're on Coruscant, and even though it's mostly a city, like, you have regular temperate climate. Corellia was kind of similar. Naboo, very lush and green.
But
so they kind of use that to
Naboo
differentiate the
Naboo
areas.
isn't in the core.
I know it's mid. I'm saying, like, the outer rim stuff had no
I mean,
variation.
Yavin is in the. Yavin's in the outer rim.
Yeah, well, there's an exception. I mean, there's always going to be exceptions.
So yeah, the sand planet, whichever planet it is, I was saying earlier how I think it might be like an opening sequence, so they're just showing like a ragtag group of rebels now, trying to evade the First Order, and that's probably those scenes. And then I saw a brief scene of Kylo stabbing somebody with the tiny little
His hilt.
his hilt of his lightsaber.
Yeah, it's like there's attacking.
And it was kind of reddish in the background, and it had all those trees that were sort of similar to the trees that were on Starkiller Base, where Rey, Finn, and Kylo had their final fight.
Pine trees.
Yeah, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Well, you could see the similarities there, and it was like in The Force Awakens, it was kind of like a blue hue in that battle. And then I saw the glimpse, it looked like a red hue with the similar trees during the day. So it's kind of like the opposite of that. So I'm thinking that scene might be towards the end of the movie, like a final showdown or something like that. So I'm just trying to piece together like where these scenes might fit into the movie. So like I said, the sand planet probably in the beginning, showing the ragtag group, a little battle.
I bet that scene with
And
Kylo
then-
will actually be the end of the second act.
What, in the trees or
In the
sand?
trees. Because I feel like that will be, because, you know, like right before the third act, the bad guys usually win in the middle of the movie, and then everyone has to come back together.
You need like a regrouping point.
Yeah, that regrouping point. That's
Okay.
probably they get dispelled in that point. Just like in The Force Awakens when they attack Maz's
Kanata's
Maz Kanata's little bar.
cantina. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
That like split them up,
Okay.
and then they came back together. I mean, they split Rey up, but
Right.
I feel like that's what that could be.
All right.
Because then we already had the opening scene, which I could see that in the desert where they're being chased.
Right.
With this, because it looks like they're on speeder bikes,
Yeah.
chasing them. That could be an opening scene.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from that. Definitely.
I'm not. I
Um,
don't know where I would speculate that scene with Rey and Kylo would take place.
Well, if you're gonna think about an opening scene, they always do a crawl. So, is that gonna work?
well,
It always starts with a space crawl.
I didn't necessarily mean. I just meant like the first scene.
I know.
Well,
It always starts with a chase in space. Every single movie does that. Not except for
Oh.
Solo and Rogue One. They all start that way.
Huh.
They all start in space.
But yeah, I would just be interested to see.
The Force Awakens started on Jakku already with Poe talking to the old man
That is true.
in the hut.
Did they change that, or did it start in space and then go down,
Like there wasn't.
or was it
No,
straight
they-
just
it
cut
was just-
into it?
It just
was
cut
them
into it
talking.
after.
Okay.
After the thing, it cut into it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's accurate. What was I gonna? I was gonna say I'm interested to see, like I said, them tie up the loose strings from The Last Jedi, and actually provide us with some good story. Like I said, I have faith in J.J. Abrams tying up this trilogy, and I really wish that he had more control, even directed The Last Jedi and made it something that we could all admire and left the theater and felt good about.
Or just didn't feel bad?
Yeah.
I would have taken that. I remember saying specifically to you, I turned over and I said, "Are we watching a Star Wars movie?"
I
Remember when I said that? I was like, "What the fuck are we?" Because, what scene? I don't remember what part of the movie it
Leia,
was.
maybe Leia flying out of the spaceship.
Maybe.
That made me really want to get up.
I
was
wanted
just
to
like, what the
leave.
Like,
hell is going
I know
on?
she's a Skywalker. I know Luke is giving her training, but doing that seemed like a lot.
Like, you have power
That was a
creep.
stretch of power.
You have power creep, and then you have whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, like-
that was too much.
Right. But I'm interested to see, what they do for Leia's story. I definitely think that Lando's going to die because, that's been the theme of these movies. Original trilogy members dying in each one.
I think Leia will die.
Do you think
Yeah.
they're going to kill her character after the
Yeah.
actress died?
Yeah,
Why not?
that's probably the plan to kill her in this movie, anyways.
Well, I figured that's why they brought on Lando, was to kill him off.
Make kill each. I mean, Lando.
You think they're going to give a nod to the consciousness of that robot that he was like in love with in Solo being in the Millennium Falcon and them having like,
I'm
a
gonna say
conversation?
no. I'm gonna go
Well,
with no.
yes, I mean, obviously in the original trilogy, we never hear her talk or anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? We
Well,
just
now
don't.
it's a part
the-
of the
I know,
story.
but the only thing we ever got was like C-3PO saying your ship like is rude or something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Han didn't. I don't know. If
The one thing that they did in Solo that you could kind of see from the original trilogy is that in Solo, Lando like smacked the robot to make it work or like act properly, and in the original trilogy they smacked the ship because at the end, the robot gets assimilated into
Yeah.
the ship's nav.
Yeah.
So in the original trilogy, it like won't be working, and then they give it like a hit or a smack, and it works.
Okay.
So
That was probably a nod to the original trilogy
Yeah.
in that movie then. Let's see. And then we were looking at the trailer and that golden amulet.
the medal.
That I think Leia was holding. Yeah. And the speculation train now. It's the medal from A New Hope, the ones that Luke and Han were wearing.
And Chewie didn't get. I don't care what they say.
Just end
I
that
can't tell who's
speculation
holding
train.
it though. One hand looks like an old hand, and then the other hand on the other side of the medal looks like a young person hand.
Well, maybe it's Leia holding it, and Rey's like, "What's this?"
I don't know. I feel like maybe it just might be like. I'm thinking maybe it's just Leia holding it, looking back.
Yeah, reminiscing or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same time, it seems like this movie is, every generation has its legend, so maybe they're trying to hit every point in Star Wars, prequels, original trilogy.
Well, I also think it might be like, I don't know the best way to phrase this, but like damage control almost from Last Jedi, where they have to do extra. Like, okay, we got to make sure people like this movie,
Right.
or this IP is doomed.
Yeah, because it was like leaving the theater after Last Jedi. It was like, man, fuck Star Wars. Do I even want to watch any more Star Wars movies? And then all the trouble with Solo, and it's just like, wow, they're really messing this up. Is what it seemed like. But I enjoyed Solo, so
Yeah.
and I would be interested in see a Darth Maul film or series. That would be really
Well,
cool. I want to
they
see.
said there'd be no more Star Wars movies after this for a while.
Yeah, that sucks because I was so hype. What about the Obi-Wan Kenobi story?
As far as I know, I don't know what they mean.
I doubt that's gonna happen.
Maybe they're waiting for Ewan McGregor to get a little older.
Bob Iger said he's going to be stepping down in 2021, though. And Bob Iger's the one that said there'd be no more Star Wars movies. So, I mean, I guess there's no more Star Wars movies
Until he's out.
until he's
Yeah,
out.
I can see that.
So, they had the Game of Thrones guys were going to make.
Oh,
Benny.
Dave and Dan.
I thought their names were Benny and something.
It's like Dave and Dan. It's Dave and Dan.
It's like
their last names, I thought.
Dave Benioff or something.
Benioff
Benioff,
and
Benioff.
Weiss,
Yeah.
something like that.
And why so?
Weiss.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
Weiss.
Dave and Dan.
That's how I know them as. Benny Weiss.
Well, it's Dave and Dan.
And
David.
I didn't realize you were first name basis
All right.
with them. Yeah, but like they were going to make a
Attached
trilogy,
to a trilogy.
and then Ryan Johnson had a trilogy.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, that's the thing. They gave him the trilogy after they saw the rough cut of The Last Jedi, like just after The Force Awakens came out.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be more interested in Darth Maul Obi-Wan movie or something like that.
don't know.
Seeing more of that gang
I don't think I'd want to see a Darth Maul
and
movie.
him like trying to find Sith holocrons or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't wanna see
I
that.
feel like that'd be interesting.
half the reason people like Darth Maul was because he was mysterious, and he's not gonna be mysterious after they give him a movie.
Maybe him being like a main villain in a movie or something
Mm.
like that. I think that'd be interesting.
I don't know. Me personally,
Why tease it and then not use it?
Because they were
Everybody
going to
was
make
already
more
excited
solo
about
movies.
because
with
it's
them.
novelty. You throw in an old character and people talk about it.
I mean, everybody was excited about it.
It's all
so
novelty.
What Old Republic movie?
everybody does.
Good old fashioned Sith Jedi war.
So do we think that was wreckage of
Second Death Star.
second Death Star or the first Death Star?
I think it's probably. It's hard to say because they've said that the first Death Star was salvaged, or a lot of its bigger pieces were salvaged
Right.
and sent to the survivors of Alderaan to build like a space station in Alderaan's orbit. And so like the surviving members lived in a space station built at the Death Star. But it's possible, some bigger
Ironic.
pieces fell. You're not going to pull a big piece of metal out of a gravity well and ship it somewhere else. So I think it's Yavin, just because Endor is known as the Forest Move, and Yavin 4 is another planet that surrounds a gas giant.
Yeah.
But that planet's more like Earth, so I think it's safe to say that that piece of the Death Star
Do you
fell.
think it's this first one?
Yeah,
probably.
fell in a non-forested area, because we know that part of Yavin was really forested.
Yeah.
I'm really interested. Like that really got my intrigue up. Seeing that, I like seeing that little stuff here and there of the older movies. Going back to Solo, like seeing Corellia, that was really cool. Seeing them build all the Star Destroyers, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot when I saw that.
Fun fact: Corellia Star Destroyers are faster than your standard Star Destroyer because they have Corellia hyperdrives in them, and they are faster than.
What else?
I don't know.
Anything else about the trailer? that we want to talk about?
Lando and Chewie reunion is going to be, what you expect, probably.
A little heartfelt for about 30 seconds, and then
Yeah.
they'll move on.
You're right. I don't have anything else to say. I'd say
Okay.
we're looking in pretty good shape.
I would say one thing: we didn't see any space battles. Granted, it's a teaser trailer, not even a full trailer.
Mhm.
We didn't see any space battles, and I feel like Star Wars needs a space battle. A nice, Rogue One has the best space battle.
Yeah.
It's a good space battle. And so we don't know what quite the type jump is going to be. I hope there's a time jump. But
Yeah, the movies
we
did seem
didn't,
pretty
like,
fast.
at
and,
one
like,
point, I feel like the Resistance
short
has to
ones.
at least turn into an army.
Something that
See what I
resembles
mean?
some sort of
And
fighting
so
force.
seeing them being a ragtag group of rebels running around on like a patchwork land sail, sail ship, doesn't look
like there's
that
no army.
appeasing to me. Like at one point, you got to become an army and a government again.
Right. Which is one
Maybe
of the
that's
things.
where Lando comes in. Is that he, brings supplies and like troops and ships with him, because he probably is continuing being this like. I don't want.
Well, eventually goes back and liberates Cloud City.
Well, right. So he continues to be this like mogul of sorts, and like collecting people underneath his umbrella and like resources and stuff like that. So I could see him having ample supplies for them.
Yeah.
In all shapes and forms.
Maybe.
Yeah. All right. So what do we think of the trailer? I'm gonna go with Unsinkable. I liked it a lot. Obviously, the movie has a lot to prove and make up for from The Last Jedi, but the trailer itself was good. I was intrigued the whole time. I liked some of the nods. I still don't like Rey's really sudden power gain, but if it's got good, the time jump like you're talking about, if it's long enough, then I can accept that. So.
Or they give you like a story point of why.
Mhm.
They didn't really give you a reason why. Like, our brains were connected, so I know all your training and I'm just as powerful as you.
That was
like,
the problem with like The Last Jedi. Like,
But I would say I'm hype. Hype is real. So Unsinkable, I'm excited to see more about Kylo Ren. I thought he was a really good character. And I want to see that story more fleshed out and a little more character development for him. And I really liked him welding his helmet back together with the red lines. I think that's going to be
cool.
really sweet cinematography from that. I just like that color scheme, red and black for the Sith. I'm really excited about that.
I'm gonna say it's Unsinkable. It's just a teaser trailer, but I'm still gonna need a little bit more before. I was gonna need to see the movie, but I'm gonna need a little bit more before I really put my heart on it and get really excited for the movie.
So you're saying it's sinkable?
I don't know what I'm saying.
That's what you just said.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
So
I'm saying-
sinkable. So we got
maybe-
two.
I guess I'm saying sinkable.
Okay.
I wasn't
no,
gonna
that's
say
fine.
it's bad. I didn't like it, but I don't think necessarily I would give it unsinkable.
I'm putting my heart on the line. I'm sipping from the punch bowl.
I'm not gonna do that yet.
Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I mean, just last part, we collectively agreed about how bad we think The Last Jedi is. So this movie now has to somehow wrap up that movie, and then finish this whole trilogy. I feel like that's a lot to happen in a
3
movie.
hours confirmed.
And we've seen other JJ, Abram products, and how many of you liked the ending of Lost?
I didn't mind. I was indifferent.
It was. I didn't think it was necessarily terrible, but it was just like, okay. I felt like it would have been something a little different, maybe. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I guess we're all dead, waiting to go to heaven. I didn't really think like, okay.
Yeah.
That's the ending of this show. Okay. So I think there's a lot. This movie has a lot to do.
That's true.
This movie has a lot to do.
That's a good point.
And I just think it could be a good movie, but then I'm going to be a little upset then that the trilogy is going to feel like disjointed. You're going to have The Force Awakens, which is kind of a rehash of the first movies, which, it was their first movie.
But it was still
They
good.
wanted to attract
Still
people.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you got The Last Jedi, and then you got to kind of go back on course after that. And I feel like that's going to be, it's worrying some. So,
All right.
Sorry for ranting on there.
Sinkable is the verdict
The
for you.
sinkable.
All right. So we got 2 unsinkables and a sinkable. we won't find out till Christmas. So until then, we'll just have to wait and see. So
Mass speculation.
all right.
Hype train.
All right. See you guys later.